What's going on, everybody? This is Jeff with Living in Arizona, and today we're going to talk about buying homes, cheap homes, affordable homes in Phoenix. I literally took a drink just before and it went down the wrong pipe. All right, so anyways, a lot of people, they can't find affordable housing in Phoenix anymore because, the whole idea of homes being below $300,000, that's kind of going away. Now, like every home that's goodness gracious, that's reasonable is over $300,000. So, my brother, who's a real estate agent, I'm going to post a link right here, and I'm also going to post a link below in the comments afterwards. You can go on to his website and see some of the home deals that he has to offer. But he was saying that there's still homes below $300,000 in Phoenix Metro, but they're out here in Santan Valley and Buckeye. So if you're really looking for homes below $300,000, start in Buckeye or Phoenix or Santan Valley. Funny thing is, I just made a video, the last video. If you haven't already seen it, go back to it, comparing Buckeye and Santan Valley, because those are like the two areas where you get really decent quality of life and really a good value in an area where it's going to continue to grow and mature. So it's a pretty good investment all in all, and you're not going into it breaking the piggy bank. And so that's what we're going to talk about. And like I said, I'm going to post a link here. Here is the link to his website. And if you guys want to talk to him, you fill out the form and request for him to contact you by and send you the listings. So that's the link right there. I'm going to post the link below in the comments so you guys can search his website and see all the listings to be able to get to this. The reason that I recommend working with my brother is because we grew up here. And so you're not getting someone who came from another state or another city who's, kind of shooting from the hip where you want to go. We know, I used to say I know Phoenix like the back of my hand. And if you guys have watched my videos, I know Phoenix pretty good. There's some nooks and crannies I haven't been to. There's some parts of Phoenix that I don't typically go to and haven't been to or plan to go to. But for the most part, I know Phoenix Metro really good, and so does he, because he's my brother. But anyway, I put that out there. And so these homes that are below $300,000, they're out here in Santan Valley. They're new builds. The thing with the new build, and I've said this time and again, is you think you're getting a really good deal because you're going into it, but you have to keep this in mind. You got to develop the backyard. Otherwise, it's a dirt track. And so some people, they like to have the home already built into the loan with the pool. Now, another thing that I will say, I have a loan officer who I'm going to be working with on this channel who just refinanced me and got me down to 3.125. Now, that was a VA loan, so I don't know if everyone's going to be able to get down to 3.125. The lowest percentage rate that I've seen was 2.95. And I was like, 2.95. For any of you guys who've ever owned a home before or know anything about interest rates, 2.95 is like unheard of. Meaning it's really good. It's really, really good. And the reason he told me to do the refinance now was because this coronavirus is driving down. It's causing fear in markets, which is driving down interest rates even lower than before. Because before I had refinanced from a 5% down to a 4.1. Now I'm down to 3.1. So it's like, wow, man. And it could get better and better, but now's a really good time to buy if you're looking for good interest rates. If you're one of those type of people who are just trying to buy for 1 to 2 years, sit in the house and try and go up in value, that's high risk. Okay. I'm not recommending that. But if you're actually looking to buy a house to live, you get a house and all that, and you get a home, maybe a pre-built with a pool. That way you don't have to build the pool, because my neighbor's building a pool. She got a good deal, $35,000 to build her pool. That was how much it cost to build my jacuzzi. Granted, I did a bunch of other things that I probably wish I didn't pay for expensive rock that I don't know how the heck I got talked into that. But either way, it looks good, but it was still expensive, like $7,000 just for rock, travertine and stuff. But if you can go without travertine and just do stamped concrete, you're not going to pay $7,000. You might only pay $1,000. Thanks to the 16 people who crushed up the likes, by the way. And where do you get your page? Where do you get your page info for what? Where do I get my info? Well, my brother, he's a real estate agent. And also I talk to neighbors. So one of my neighbors is a a loan officer through Quicken Loans. He got me really set up. He asked me, he said, let me see your documents to see if you got a good deal on your last refi. I did. And he was like, but let me just run a hard check on your credit. And I was like, oh man, I don't really want you to run a hard check because that's going to affect my credit. But I said, you know what? If you think you can get me down to 3.125, or I said, if you can get me to 3.5, I'm happy. He got me to 3.125. So I'm pretty happy about that. But let's see. Philip says Santan Valley and Buckeye, middle of nowhere. Yeah, they are well, they're not the middle of nowhere. They're the edge of nowhere, or they're the edge of the cities. But I would pick Santan Valley 9 times out of 10 over Buckeye. The only thing that might get me to go to Buckeye is if it's like a super good deal on like a beautiful home. That's the only way I'm going to Buckeye. It's got to be a super good deal on a really nice home. Otherwise, I'm like 9 times out of 10 going to Santan Valley. I still, to this day, have a hard time understanding why someone would want to go out west. But there's a lot of people who do want to go out west. So you have to keep that in mind. And like I was telling you guys before about the pre-built homes versus the brand new homes. So yeah, you can get these brand new homes, and they're beautiful brand new homes. I mean, you're getting everything spotless. You don't even have to burn sage in your brand new home because you're the only one who ever lived there. So you're not having to dispel evil spirits or weird spirits or funk because you're the first one. It's just like a brand new car. But with that, you have to develop your yard, and the likelihood that the loan is going to let you lump that in to build the pool is not likely. I mean, I was told that when I first bought the house that I can just add the pool build into the loan for the mortgage, but they shot that down pretty quick. That was like a little pipe dream. But sometimes people can get that lumped in. Like if the people who are building your house offer front yard and backyard solutions, you just do that for a temporary thing. It might be like $7,000 extra, and you get like 2 palm trees, some decorative rock, and some astroturf for the dogs and the kids. Bam, there you go. That might be a good thing, but you're not going to get like a pool out of the deal unless you buy a pre-built or something that's already been built. Then you get then you can get a pool. Thanks to the 22 people who crushed up the likes, by the way. JJ Vara says, can you please refer to awesome lenders with low interest rates moving back home in a month? So excited. Okay. My lender, the guy who just got me the deal, I can't say his name because the reason is because there's like some legal thing he's got to check with before I even mention him. He's got to talk to his boss because there's all these different laws and stuff about mentioning people. But I will say this, the lender is going to be in our group. So join our Facebook group, Living in Arizona. He's going to be in there. And when he gets the green light to go ahead and tell you guys that he can refinance you, he will be in there. And I'll be sure and mention that this is my lender. So for those of you who are looking to get that really good deal. Now, obviously, it's going to depend on your credit. I mean, I'm not sitting here saying that I got good credit. In fact, I think I only had like 700. Like one of them was even like 695 or something like this. But I thought I would be at like a 750 because I'm always on time with my payments. I'm not delinquent on anything. But turns out one of the areas that I was not doing so hot on, and I'm not a credit guru, so don't take my word for it, but they said because of the fact that I have like I have a Macy's account, a Home Depot account that carries a zero balance. And because I have it, but I don't use it, it's affecting my credit. So it's like if you have like a Nordstrom card or a Macy's card or a Home Depot card or a Target card and they have zero balances, that might be what's affecting your credit. And I didn't even know that. I was like, I have zero balances. I don't owe them anything. And they're like, yeah, but you have it open and you're not using it. So some things to consider if you're trying to get out there to improve your credit. But if you have really good credit, that seemed like it was the big thing for me, was the fact that it was the coronavirus is affecting interest rates. So they're like the lowest that I've personally ever seen them. I don't know how low I don't know what the lowest they've ever been, but the coronavirus is actually doing something positive, and that's driving down interest rates on loans. So it's a pretty good time to consider buying because when I first got into my house, my mortgage payment was $400 more than it is now. So, you might step into a situation where you're paying $1,700, and then the next thing you know, you're down to, $1,250. So I don't know. It seems like a pretty good deal, but you got to keep in mind, you still have to pay the HOA. So that's one thing I would say that kind of irritates you is, or might irritate you, is you get to pay these people called a homeowners association, who you have to pay to tell you what you can and cannot do to your house, and also harass you in your mailbox because, oh, you left the trash bins out one day late, or you had some weeds popping up on the side of your house. Which to me, I'm like, there's weeds all over this community. They need to spray those weeds before they can tell me about weeds. Anyway, either way, I pulled all the weeds. You got to get them by the root, of course, or you got to use this Roundup. But I don't even know if Roundup's safe because it might have this thing called glyphosate in it. And that's, so we'll see about that. But either way, it's a pretty good deal owning a house in Phoenix, out here in Santan Valley, or Queen Creek. Santan Valley is where the cheaper houses are. If you want even cheaper, but you got to go a little bit further, Florence, Coolidge. You can get some houses out there, pretty good deals. But now, okay, so I wanted to also talk about other areas. My brother on his website, which I already told you, he's got those good deals on there. I'm on his website right now. He's got a house in Scottsdale, North Thompson Peak, 2 bedrooms, 2.5 baths. I don't know how they have more baths than beds, but hey, it's 1,890 square feet. That's pretty big. Under $400,000 in Scottsdale. And it's in a nice area. It's a townhouse, but still, it's got desert views too. So, I mean, if you just go onto his website, let me see if I can get you a link to that one more time for those of you who are just jumping in. I already said I'm going to post the link in the comments below, but I know this is big for a lot of you guys who are trying to take advantage of the interest rates and also get a home now. Obviously, the market could go down if coronavirus keeps destroying everything like it's doing. I mean, people are buying toilet paper galore. Some of these stores, you go in there, you can't even get toilet paper. So here's the link. Click on that link, and you can shop around on the website and see some of the homes, or you can just message him and tell him where you want to get a home. So if you say, I'm focused on Santan Valley, or I'm focused on Queen Creek, I'm focused on Gilbert, I'm focused on Scottsdale, he'll send you out a listing. And then when something comes up in the area that you like and you get pre-approval from a loan officer, whether it be who knows who, the guy that I got to deal with or someone else, once you get that pre-approval, that's basically your promissory note to go shopping for a home and get what you need, which is pretty good. Serious Killmonger, that's a heck of a name you got there, says they're going to switch to digital money. Who's going to switch to digital money? Bitcoin's digital money, but I don't know what you're talking about. 280 zone, no HOA in my neighborhood. Good for you. I mean, that's good. I don't know if I like HOAs or not. Actually, there is one person in our community who has this like junker car. I don't know what they're doing with it, but it's been parked outside their front yard for like ever. And it's like on the street, and it doesn't bother me, but I think it might bother some neighbors. And they also have like a cardboard thing underneath it to catch the oil. But they just park it there and they just leave it. And I don't know what they're doing with it, but the HOA would say, hey, move your car. And people like that. There was also this guy who was parking his Winnebago up and down the side of the road, and people were getting all butthurt about it. Not me. I don't care. I'm like, you got a Winnebago. Let's go hang out and go to Northern Arizona and go cruise around, But the HOA thought they were superheroes because they're like, I thought we told you guys that you can't park your Winnebago on the side of the road. We're calling the sheriff's department if you could do it again. Threats like that. And you're like, well, I pay him $77 a month to do that. Cool. I haven't even seen him street sweep in a long time. Thanks to the 35 people who crushed up the likes. Scott Glick, scientist, coronavirus is a serious threat. People hoard toilet paper and Perel. And then scientist, climate change is a serious threat. People, fake news. Okay. Jerry Cruel, does your brother work with people looking to rent a home or only buyers? Only buyers, from what I understand. There's nothing in it for people to work doing rentals. So if you're looking to rent, this is the way you do it. You go to the property and speak to the person who's renting it. The rental agents, they end up doing a whole ton of work, and at the end of the day, they end up putting like 10, 12, sometimes more hours, and they get like $50 out of it. And so it's only like $5 an hour Anyone? That's why, because I used to be when I was in Hawaii, I was trying to rent. I was like, oh, I'll just call a rental agency. They're going to want to rent to me. And then I found out that there's no money in it, so no one was doing it. So if you want to rent, you pretty much have to find out who the rental office is or the person renting it is. And I know that you can check rent.com. That's where I would start. Rent.com, or you could check Hot Pads, and they'll have stuff on there. Let's see here. Carolyn B. After coming from a no HOA to an HOA, I much prefer the HOA. It keeps the neighborhood nice and value up. Good point, Carolyn. There you go. There's some reason to have an HOA. So it's not all doom and gloom with HOAs, especially if they're keeping the home values up, which apparently in this neighborhood, they've just been going up, up, up. That was, I got lucky because I bought and they're building like crazy out here. Let me just tell you this. I mean, you come out here to Santan Valley for real. Ocotillo on the left side, huge plots of land cleared for homes. You come down here, Riggs on the left side, across from Schneff Farms, the Schneff, big Schneff, like amusement park kind of deal. Huge piece of property. They're getting ready to put in some master plan community right there. And they're all around, like all these like empty lots just getting ready to build homes. They must be, I said to my friend, I said, that lot right there is probably going to have 5,000 to 10,000 people just on that little corner. So it's it might be the edge of nowhere, or it might be nowhere right now, but wow, you move in 10,000 people over here, over there. Next thing you know, you got a metropolis building up, and next thing you know, your Santan Valley is like Gilbert. We've already got 100,000 people out in Santan Valley, so I don't know. Let's see. Scott Glick said, Jeff, did you see that post on Facebook I sent regarding New City past Santan Valley? Superstition Vistas, crazy growth. Yeah. Okay. No, I did not, Scott. And I had never even heard of Superstition Vistas. I'd never even heard of it, but that's crazy. So they're building another city beyond it, because this area is growing so fast. I've never seen anything like this ever. I mean, maybe in 2004, we saw this. 2003 and 2004, Phoenix experienced a pretty big housing boom. They were building the 303, the 202 up there in Peoria and all that. It was mostly up in Northwest Phoenix where I was living back then, or in North Phoenix. They built like Wildfire, Desert Ridge, and then they built, and to be honest with you, I think we still got the more bright days ahead of us. But what do I know? I mean, I don't have a crystal ball, right? I'm not like, hey, yeah, for the next 5 years, we're going to keep growing. But all I know is right now, the builders are not slowing down. They're ramping up, even in the face of coronavirus. And I'm like, it's a pretty good time to buy if you want to get a good interest rate. Heck, I don't know. Great riff is here. I hope the market continues to crash. Great time to buy stocks. Oh, yeah. If you want to talk about stocks, I'm looking at some stocks myself. This is not professional financial advice, by the way. So do your own research. But there's a couple that I'm looking at, just looking at, not necessarily buying, but I have the same thing. I always like Apple. Apple's like a really strong stock to own. It just goes up all the time. But when it goes down, I'm like, time to buy. Tesla, I like Tesla right now. I really like Tesla when it was below 300. That was my time when I was buying. But now that it's way up, 700, and it went up as high as 900, I'm not touching Tesla with even if I love Tesla, I love Tesla cars or whatever. I'm not touching it unless it goes below 500. Some stocks that are new that I'm looking at, I'm keeping an eye on Uber, because when I'm traveling around, I'm always taking Uber. So I'm like, but Uber is like a hot mess right now, which is kind of a good reason to buy, because once they do figure it out and dial it in, Uber would be a good stock to own. Another one that I'm keeping an eye on is Lyft, which is a cheaper version of Uber. And I don't really use Lyft, but hey, I think it's a good time. I think it's something to keep an eye on. There's also one that just came out. It's called Virgin Galactic. So it's a new industry, space travel. So space travel is the interesting one. I don't know why I'm telling you guys all about stocks, because some of you guys don't trade stocks, but check out Virgin Galactic. It's run by Richard Branson. It's a bit of a fad. It's probably overbought, it's overpriced right now, but if it comes back down to reality, space travel could be an up and coming industry. The Beyond Meat is like a fad. It's something that, Taco Bell, KFC, McDonald's could jump on. And if they do, Stuff like Beyond Meat, meat alternatives could be a big industry to tap into. Another one that's kind of interesting for me that went down a lot because of the coronavirus is airline stocks. So I was just looking at United, American, Delta. If you look at the last 6 months, all three of those airlines are way down. And to me, that's a buy signal because I'm like, once the coronavirus goes away, those stocks are going to rebound back up. Travel industry is not going away. People want to travel these days. It's just they're not traveling because of coronavirus. Whether or not those stocks go any further down, I don't know. But we'll see. Okay, Madman says, oh my God, Beyond Meat has enough soy to give men tits in 1 year. Okay, I didn't know that. I still eat meat. I just had a hamburger for lunch. So the only reason I was thinking about it is because it gets explosive growth because it's like fads. It's like how people were feeling about cannabis and marijuana like 4 years ago, or 5 years ago. So these up and coming industries. I mean, who knows? You guys know what you're doing, right? Let's see here. Christopher T, I used Lyft once. It was all right. Yeah, I mean, Lyft is basically, it's not even the poor man's Uber. It's just an alternative to Uber, but it's got a lower market capitalization. But in terms of like the best stocks to buy, for me, in my opinion, Apple. I mean, how can you really go wrong with Apple? Like I was even checking out Samsungs and Androids and all that alternatives to Apple. And I was like, man, I'm sticking with my Apple, because the guy was trying to convince me to get an Android. And I was like, dude, I already came from Android 4 years ago. And once I went to Apple and I figured out the new operating system, I was like, Apple everything. So I'm pretty sold on Apple. I don't think it's going to get worse. I think it gets better. And I think that stock just continues to go up as long as the market's good. Another one that I'm also got on my radar is Amazon. It's like Amazon's just taken over. I mean, that Jeff Bezos is like a machine. He's just out there doing everything from, drones that deliver your packages to like Whole Foods to all these different things. And I found Amazon to just be fantastic technology and a fantastic place to buy stuff. Now, the problem is if we keep this trade embargo or these trade restrictions going with China, where, we're not trading with China because of the coronavirus and, they don't want to import, where does Amazon get most of its stuff? Okay. I'm not convinced that Amazon is sold off enough for me to enter into at, $1,900 per share. Mike O'Brien, what about Gold Canyon, Bisbee, and Snowflake? 3 totally different areas. Gold Canyon is in Phoenix Metro at the base of the Superstitions. Bisbee is like, that is the middle of nowhere. Someone was saying something was in the middle of nowhere. I'll tell you what's in the middle of nowhere. Bisbee. It takes like an hour and a half from Tucson, and that's like nothing in between there. I mean, there's a couple small towns, but that's mostly desert from Tucson to Bisbee. And you got Tombstone. And then Snowflake, that's middle of nowhere too. I would live there. I'd live there, but I wouldn't live there full time because it's literally the middle of nowhere. If I'm looking for a job, unless I'm like working there from the internet or doing something like, I don't know, mineral mining or oil digging or something like that. What's in Bisbee? What is in Bisbee? It's a good place to retire if you want to live out in the middle of nowhere. Or if you want to have a cabin. Snowflake, probably a better place for a cabin because it's high desert. It gets 4 seasons, but not really too many pine trees. Gold Canyon would probably be where I would go. Since you asked, that's where I would do, Mike. But good question. Robert, my daughter was going to fly and the pilot canceled the flight before they left the tarmac. This happened in Burbank Airport. Where was that headed? Where was it headed, Robert? Thomas Ott says, if you go with an HOA, be certain the managing HOA body is located in the same state as your home. Preferably, the HOA should have walk-in offices in the same community like it is an Anthem. That is absolutely good idea, Thomas. One of the things that I don't like about the HOA is they're really hard to get a hold of. And because they don't have like a face-to-face relationship with us, they kind of just send out these really irritating, rude letters. Whereas I think if they know you face-to-face, they might not be so prone to be rude to you and so quick to drop the hammer for leaving the trash bins out till Saturday when they picked up on Friday. It's like, every Friday night, you got to hurry and make sure you get those trash bins. God forbid you should forget to grab those trash bins, because if you do, and their person goes around on Saturday afternoon and sees your trash cans, they're like, busted, fine them. And I'm just like, really? Here comes Mary. I bought a nice mobile home in Casa Grande for $25,000. No mortgage, no HOA, $150 property tax value. On property value drop, worry. I keep all my money in the stock market. That's what Mary Smith says. So you bought a mobile home for $25,000 in Casa Grande. That is a heck of a good price. Thanks to the 39 people who crushed up the likes. Scott says, Jeff, are you out there off of Hunt Highway? I mean, no, not off of Hunt Highway. No, I'm not. No, and I'm not going to tell everyone where I live, because I had people from this channel come to my house, and I was barefoot with my shirt off and my gym shorts on, and they were like, "Hey, Jeff, we were looking for you," and I'm like, I'm ordering a pizza and I'm relaxing today because I'm hungover. But no, seriously, don't come over to my house. Do not. I'm not trying. I'll hang out with you guys, and I've hung out with people from this channel. I'm just saying, don't try to come over to my house. So no, I'm not telling anyone where I live. Dane says, Mary Smith, is there a lot of crime in Casa Grande? No, Casa Grande isn't that crazy. There is some crime, but it's not too bad. Casa Grande's pretty peaceful and chill. Christopher T, I live in Tucson right now. I might have to move to Phoenix for my job, but I'm going to retire in Kingman, Bullhead City, or Lake Havasu, because I don't want to live in a city. Yeah, I mean, if you've already got money in the bank and you want to chill out, those are some pretty good places. But why don't you check out Payson or Snowflake or Heber Overguard? Those are some pretty good places. I would take those all over Kingman. Bullhead City or Lake Havasu tells me that you want to be on the river. So if you know you want to be on the river, then go for that. But those three cities that I just mentioned, if you're trying to retire, those are where I would be looking. Payson. You could even add Prescott or Prescott Valley or Chino Valley or Cottonwood, Snowflake, Strawberry. Those are places to retire for real. Yeah, no, people did come to my house, and I was like, oh, geez. I hope they're not watching this video because they're like, oh, I was the one who did it. There's nothing against them. Nice people, real nice people. I just wasn't in the mood because it was my day off and I was hungover. It was the middle of the day. I was watching football, and I was surprised. I was like, how'd they find out where I live? So, Ransom Gamma says, I live in Casa Grande. So you can answer that question about that. Okay. Mary Smith, JJ Vara. Yes, Mary Smith owns the land in Casa Grande. Okay. Jerry Cruel was in Phoenix last week, and the roads, freeways, and main roads were rough. Really? Where were you in Phoenix where the roads were rough? You must have been in Central Phoenix. Because out here in the Southeast Phoenix, I can tell you that all the roads are in pretty good condition from Gilbert East. So where were you where the roads were that rough? I did hear that the brand new 202 was kind of chipping and falling apart in some areas, which was weird because it's a brand new freeway. Where were you, Jerry? Like what part of Phoenix? Probably West Phoenix or Central Phoenix, which is the areas that we don't really recommend on this channel. I-10 and around airport. I-10 goes east to west. So we're on I-10. I-10 goes all the way through Phoenix to Tucson. So I-10 by Ahwatukee or I-10 by Glendale. But you said by the airport, so that is Central Phoenix. That's Central Phoenix. Sam says, can't move to Strawberry. I'm allergic. Okay, yeah, there is. Strawberry is a very green place. Yes, there is green places in Arizona, and Strawberry is one of them. So Central and Scottsdale. What, you had some rough roads in Scottsdale? So you're saying in Scottsdale the roads were rough? I don't know. Oh, interesting. I mean, I take your word for it. You have, but most of the roads in Phoenix, I think, are in pretty good shape. Are there any parts of the Phoenix metro area where the air pollution is not as bad? Yes, North Phoenix. I think Southeast Phoenix has pretty good air quality, but I haven't busted out the air pollution meter to see how bad it is. But I mean, I've flown into Phoenix a couple times, and I look down and I'm like, it's kind of hazy down there. It gets real hazy when it's really sunny, and it's just like Phoenix is just cooking, and the haze is just like rising into the atmosphere, and it's not low visibility, but it's not like crystal clear like you like it, right? But then it rains, and then it goes crystal clear. You can get some real crystal clear days, but I would say North Phoenix has some pretty good. What is it called? Air quality. Brian Miller, allergies are a serious concern. It's very bad here in the Yuma area. Yeah, allergies, I have seen people who have allergies have some issues. But these are people who say they've had allergies their whole life everywhere they went. I don't know if they're getting, they didn't tell me that it's worse than they ever had it, but they just said where I used to be was really bad allergies, and I get it really bad here just at a different time. So there you go. Nikki Reichert says, I don't think the roads are that bad. I agree, Nikki, but I don't know where he was. I mean, it depends. Not all the roads are that great. I mean, West Phoenix doesn't have very good roads. He might have been on West Phoenix or Central Phoenix. He could have been in Sunny Slope. If he's around Central, he might have been in Sunny Slope, and Sunny Slope's a tough area. Christopher T. The roads aren't bad to me. I'm extra aware of that since I'm a motorcycle rider before car driver. Yeah. Did Jerry ever respond to exactly where he was? I don't see it. Chris says, I'm thinking of putting in an above ground pool. How do you feel about above ground pools? On a very low budget, it's a good thing. But if it becomes an eyesore. It's not very attractive. I don't know that it holds any good value for resale, but it's a good short-term solution. And if you got a plot of land that you're just not using, and you're like, you know what, an above ground pool would look great right there, and I've got $2,000, let's do it. Do it. That's a good idea. But I mean, nothing's going to beat an in-ground pool. Mary Smith, have you turned on your air yet? No, I haven't. I only ceiling fans. I haven't needed to use air. I mean, it was 85 degrees today. No, I did not need to use air conditioning yet. In fact, when I'm waking up in the morning, I'm still noticing it's still pretty cool. Like it's kind of too cold. So no, I haven't had to use my air. I probably won't use my air until it gets into the 90s. Nikki Reichert says, thanks for pronouncing my name right. Lowell usually gets butchered. Yeah, I was thinking about it. I was like, Reichert or Reichert? But I know that name, so there you go. Chuck Miller says, Phoenix roads are pretty good. Yeah, so most of the people seem to think that the roads in Phoenix are pretty good. That doesn't mean that there aren't some areas that have some really crummy roads. Dave Alexander says, Indiana is the king of rotten roads. Oleana says 85 degrees. You know what? Let me check to see how hot it was today. What was the high? What was the temperature in Phoenix today? Let me see. It's 72 right now. It's 6:37 at night. Let me see what it was. It's going to be 85 tomorrow. I don't know. They didn't say what the high today was. Maybe it says 76, but that's what right now. It's 83 today. No, 86. I don't know. I'm getting mixed reports here for some reason on the internet. It was pretty warm, but it wasn't bad at all. I liked it. I was like, this is basking weather. I was loving it. I'm loving it. I'm loving this weather. Tara Moody says Tucson was only 80 today. Yeah, I mean, I'm cool with weather under 90. When it gets to about 90 to 100, I need to turn on my air conditioner at least a little bit through the heat of the day. Once it goes over 100, I'm pretty much like running my air conditioner in the daytime. Margaret Smith says it was 85. Thank you, Margaret. Elise says the temp is about the same in Riverside, California. It was very warm. Tomorrow, rain. Oh, so if it's raining there, it might be rain coming here. Let me take a look at the 7-day. We need some rain because my garden that I'm growing needs some rain. Ooh, we got some rain coming on Wednesday and Thursday. It's going to be 75 on Wednesday with rain and 72 on Thursday with rain. Cool. Because my garden could use some rain right now. And I don't want to have to pay for the water bill. So, hey, Maya Loza, thank you. She says she loves this channel. Oh, 280 Zone says we got rain for Sunday. That'll be good. I mean, any bit of rain right now is going to be really good for my garden because I just planted seeds of flowers. You know, you go to Lowe's, you just go to Lowe's, right? And they got all types of different flowers, even Home Depot too. But you get marigolds, you get poppies. Poppies grow really good in Arizona. But this is the time to plant them. Like if you're going to plant, you need to go there and get your $1.99 seed packages. Go get 5 packages for $10 and just throw those seeds all over in the dirt around your house and just let the flowers do their thing. They might look like weeds. Some of them might look like weeds, but they're not. They're flowers. But then again, don't do it in your front yard because you know how the HOA might be like, those are weeds. No, they're not. They're flowers. So you go there and you get a pot. You get one of those pots from Walmart or from Home Depot. You get a clay one or a plastic one, and then you put some soil into it and just plant some seeds, some flowers. And then right when people walk in, they get this nice effervescent aroma of like these flowers. And I like to do that to my guests because that's the first thing they're getting when they come in my house is a nice smell of flowers. And I don't think there's a problem with that. And anyone who says, oh, that's fruity. No, I don't think it's fruity. I think it's good. I like flowers. I like to smell good things. I'm not sitting here trying to smell stank. Okay. So I'm all good with flowers. And if you got a problem with that, saying that it's fruity, that's on you, not on me. Steak Burger Master. I'm a Canadian wanting to move to Phoenix. Any advice on visa approvals? Ooh, I don't know anything about that. I don't know. Oh man, that one stressed me out because I don't have an answer for that. Oleana, Gilbert versus Santan Valley versus Queen Creek. Which will work for a medical professional, any new construction homes? Well, there's no doubt about it that Gilbert is the best place to be. And then the second best place to be is going to be Queen Creek. And the third best place to be is Santan Valley. The reason I ended up in Santan Valley is because I wanted to be close to Gilbert, but I only got pre-approved for under $300,000 for a loan. So I had the only place that I could get a new home was in Santan Valley. Now I could qualify for more probably if I wanted, but I'm completely content out here because the area is booming and I'm completely content out here. I got a nice big backyard and everything's good. So no complaints, but I mean, if you got the money, go to Gilbert. We're talking $100,000 more out there. You're going to pay $100,000 more in Gilbert. You're going to pay about $50,000 more in Queen Creek. And then, you know, that's then Santan Valley. So if you're making $100,000 a year, just live in Gilbert. Buy a house in Gilbert. Yeah, they got new builds out there. Get a nice one. That's what I say. If you got the money, do it. Jerry Kroll says, I always felt roads were good over the years, with surprise coming from the north on I-17. Okay, you said it all. I-17 is West Phoenix. That whole area, yeah. If you're on West Phoenix, the roads are not in very good shape over there. That's basically, that's not the desirable place to be in Phoenix. So it's old, it's worn down. I mean, it's not upkept. That's the area of Metro Center. So yeah. Okay, Jerry, you were on I-17. That answers the question. Now, nothing wrong with that area. My cousin lives over there. I don't know why, but anyway. Well, no, I know why, because he works at the car dealership on Bell Road. Jerry says, had to travel North Phoenix around Phoenix Country Club and then went to IKEA and found the roads were much rougher than in the past. Yeah, there are some areas that are probably not being upkept, especially around that area. And again, that's 35th Street west to about 70th Avenue in that area, which is part of Phoenix, but not the part of Phoenix that we ever recommend really settling. So if you're in that area of town, you're probably doing some shopping or driving to, I don't know. I don't, there's nothing there for me. The only thing that I go over there for is maybe the state fair, and that's on McDowell. So yeah, I might go to McDowell for that. What else would I go over there for? If I wanted to go check out Encanto, but once I go beyond that, unless I'm trying to go cruise up and down Grand, what's over there for me? I-17 is a corridor that runs right through that gets you from South Phoenix or Phoenix to the north. That's the way I look at it. JJ Var says, "Hello, Jeff. What do you think about Litchfield Park?" It's far west Phoenix. It's a good area if you like it out there and you feel comfortable. It's a good area. You're not going to have too many problems. Okay, it's good. It's good. I wouldn't live there, but maybe I would. I heard Goodyear is good. That came from my loan officer. He was saying that he likes Goodyear. So maybe you look at Goodyear if you're considering Litchfield Park. Conscious Agent, how close to the north side of Phoenix can I find a piece of land to camp with my RV off-grid setup? Okay, I've talked about this place before, but I'm going to mention again. Check out Crown King. The mountains out there in Crown King, they're the Bradshaw Mountains. You might like that. There's also Black Canyon City. I don't know about this. I don't know the laws behind that. So what I'm speaking on is not legal advice, but what you're talking about doing sounds like squatting. And I don't know how that works with the laws, but I know that that's some areas in North Phoenix that you might consider. But I don't know. I don't know about squatting. I haven't looked at the laws. I thought it was illegal. But if you go to an RV park and pay, it's not illegal. Not saying you're doing anything illegal. I'm just saying that if you're just trying to do what most people want to do, which is legitimately be a gypsy nomad and just cruise around and post up in different places and then wake up and go to the next place and chill out until you find a place you feel comfortable with, which sounds like the dream, right? Like get a Winnebago or an RV and just kind of do that. But I don't think it's legal because I wanted to do that at some point, and then I had to find out, oh man, it's not legal. All right, fine. Chuck Miller says, you will hear the F-35 fighter jets all day in Litchfield Park. Yeah, you will hear jet noise. So you're going to be one of those people who's going to get one of those bumper stickers on Amazon that says, I hate jet noise. Now, I know that one because I was in the Navy and I worked on jets, and I wanted to get that bumper sticker because my barracks were right next to the flight path where the F-18s would come in, and man, they were so loud all night. Oh, Conscious Agent wants to buy land, not squat. Oh, okay, cool. New River. Check out New River, man, for real. Another place you might want to check out is Wickenburg. North Phoenix is pricey, though. North Phoenix is a pricey place. So the land out there is going to be a bit more than, say, Casa Grande, but it's worth it. I mean, it's a beautiful desert out there. If you got a little bit extra money, Cave Creek. So that's my answer to that. And I wasn't sure. I had some people asking me about squatting before, so I wasn't sure if that was the same kind of question. Ricardo says, I was on the west side recently. Tons of new homes and developments. A lot is happening. West side is booming. Yes, Buckeye, Goodyear, that whole area is booming. Even Northwest, you got Desert Ridge, and then, that's more north, but Northwest would be more around like where my sister lives, Happy Valley. Happy Valley is booming. Happy Valley is absolutely booming. The thing I liked about Happy Valley is they do different permaculture. What I mean by that is they actually use the native plants like Palo Verdes to line their streets. So like when Palo Verdes bloom in, say, like April or something like that, maybe May. I don't know when Palo Verdes bloom exactly. I guess it just depends. But so they put Palo Verdes all along the center divider. So like when the Palo Verdes bloom and they're big trees, it creates this beautiful like yellow flower canopy. But those flowers get everywhere. Palo Verdes bloom and they're big trees. It creates this beautiful like yellow flower canopy, but those flowers get everywhere. Mesquites, the ironwood trees, more of a permaculture. Whereas out here, they'll get like more of these exotic plants like Chinese elms or Hong Kong orchids or Brazilian pepper trees or acacia. Or, I mean, I've got them in my backyard, but you know, maybe more cactus out here, less cactus. Chuck Miller, Jeff said no squatters allowed at his house when he's off island hopping. Yeah. Oh man. Chuck, you're funny. 280 zone. Alice says, yes, Maricopa is ways out from Phoenix Valley still. Oh, that highway sounds intimidating. Yeah. That's the biggest gripe that people have about Maricopa. Is the road one way in and one way out, and when there's an accident, it's just like, oh my gosh, why did I move to Maricopa? But if they make a freeway out there for once and for all, maybe Maricopa becomes a big thing. But funny thing is, it's not in Maricopa County. Brian Miller says flowering trees attract hundreds of bees. Yeah, and if they're Africanized killer bees, that's not good because those are what. Remember last year we had an attack of Africanized killer bees at a golf course. Some dude was out there golfing and he was swinging his golf club, and then he was next to one of those blooming trees and he got swarmed and attacked, bit like over 100 times or stung 100 times. Alice says, I was thinking about Buckeye, but the sales tax on buying a home is 19%. Maricopa is 13%. I'm paying cash and don't have a lot to spend. Well, you know, at the way the interest rates are right now, that's basically what you're saving on interest rates at this particular time. I mean, like I said, I entered into my loan at 5% or 6%, something like that. And I thought that was a pretty good one because I've been as high as 9% on a home loan in 2007. So, which is, you know, funny because that's when the housing market collapsed, right? When I first bought my first home at 24 years old, I was paying $1,900 a month for a house that's smaller than this in a time when we were making less money. $1,900, and most of that was because of high interest rates. So if you can save money on these interest rates like that, you know, your property tax is kind of water under the bridge because it's already paying for itself, what you're saving in interest rates. Conscious Agent says the low interest rates are going to drive prices even higher. Well, that's good news for me because I already own my house. So I want my house to go up in value, and I'm happy that I got low interest rates. So, I mean, what I would say is, yeah, when I bought my house, the thing that there was always a gray cloud over my head, which was, oh, well, this could be the top of the market. It could be overpriced. You know, there was always that. But the reason this is something that I thought about Santan Valley that really made me comfortable with it. I said, you know what? This is an up and coming area. And what happens to up and coming areas when urban sprawl swallows up these cities? Look at Gilbert. I'm like, in 5 to 10 years, this house is going to be way up there. And I'm getting great interest rates and I'm getting a pretty good price on a brand new home. So I'm like, win, 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 win. And even if the economy did crash like 3 weeks later or something like that, or 3 months later, it was you know, I was like, well, I'd rather be here in a home under $300,000 than in a house in Scottsdale that was way overpriced at $700,000. That's going to come crashing down to $300,000 or $400,000 if the market crashed. So I was like, well, what's the worst it could go down to? 180, but it's in an up and coming area, so it'll recover really quickly. Now, Santan Valley 10 years ago, it wasn't as developed. So when the housing collapse did happen, it really hit it because it was still, you know, there's like phases to development. It was like 1 to 30% development. Now it's in this like 30 to 60% range. And then the next phase is going to be 60 to 90. And then it's 100% part of the city. You know, there's almost no, there'll still be like little lots in between because that's how Phoenix is. Even if you go to downtown Phoenix, you'll still see a big dirt lot. So I'm not going to say that everything's going to be filled in on every block, but, you know, we're in that 30 to 60% growth range whereas before it was 10 to 30. See, if you go out to Florence now, or even Gold Canyon, you might be playing with fire with that because it's so far out there and it's so underdeveloped. Yes, you're getting a good price, but if the market did tank, I mean, these are my thoughts. You might agree or disagree. You know, Leon Norris says sex, drugs, and rock and roll. About what? Out here in Santan Valley, you're not going to get that. We did just get a Barrio Queen in Queen Creek, which is 10 minutes away. So out here, we are getting some stuff. We got Buffalo Wild Wings, we got Olive Garden, we got Santan Flats, we got Barrio Queen, which is actually pretty cool. I want to go there and have a couple of drinks. Unfortunately, there's no real casinos out here that are close. And downtown Gilbert's within reasonable proximity. And then there's Santan Village, which is about a half hour Uber away. Overall, I mean, I wish things were there was a little bit more, but guess what? It's coming. You know how I know? Because I looked on that corner and I looked on that corner and that corner over there, and they all are proposed commercial developments, which means they're going to be building stuff in these big 30-acre plots of land that are going to be like marketplaces. And I'm like, go ahead and start building those, please, because I want to see what you're going to put in there. Because I might even build a Mexican restaurant in there or something. I say Mexican because I'm from Arizona, so I'm part Mexican. And I like going to Mexico. Mexican food is my favorite cuisine, probably. Actually, steak and potatoes is pretty good too. But I don't think I'd open up a steakhouse, although I could. But I mean, Mexican because I could serve margaritas, Dos Equis, Corona, have mariachi band playing, tacos and burritos, chimichangas and fajitas and taquitos and chips and salsa. Whereas steakhouse, I mean, I don't know. Tomato, to each their own, right? Mike, you need an AC swamp cooler. Won't cut it here in the summer, says 280 Zone. What's up, Civic Lexus kind of guy, 101. Oh, yeah, we do need a native New Yorker. You know what I like for pizza? They do have Brooklyn pizza. I order that on the DoorDash. I order Brooklyn pizza. It's pretty good pizza. But my favorite pizza is called Barro's. If you're moving to Phoenix and you want to go to a pizza place, check out Barro's, Barros. It's really good. I've been eating Barro's for 20, 30 years now. It's better than Domino's. So anyways, guys, thanks to the 64 people who crushed up the likes. If you guys have more questions, keep throwing them at me, or we'll just finish the live feed and we'll see you on the next one. Okay. Christopher T says, thanks for making me hungry. I assume you got hungry because of either the pizza or the burritos. B, are tankless water heaters worth it out there? What? Tankless water heaters? Where? That's interesting. Do those exist? I don't know. I've never used one of those. Scott Glick, Romano's in Santan Valley. Great pizza. Okay. I haven't had that yet. Margaret Smith says, nothing on Chicago pizza. Yeah, I mean, come out here. If you're from Chicago, come out here and open up Chicago deep dish pizza right there at one of those proposed places so I can order some pizza from you on a Friday night when I'm too lazy to cook a steak. Chuck Miller, I have a tankless water heater. Chuck, you want to answer their question? Minka, is traffic bad in Queen Creek? Don't think I've been south of Chandler when I lived there. Yeah, traffic is bad right now because, well, it's not bad. I mean, it depends. It's bad because they're like widening all these roads because there's so much growth. Like all these 1-lane roads that they built, they're having to make them into like huge, massive roads. Good news about that is once they're done, it's done. And it'll be a brand new road. So if you're one of those people who wants to drive on like a really nice brand new road, that's a good thing. But traffic can be a pain in the butt. So what I'm doing right now, they're redeveloping this road called Rittenhouse. They're widening it, which I'm excited for because when it's done, it's done. But it's going to take 6 months to a year. Maybe they'll have it done by summer. Who knows? But I'm having to take rigs. All the way down, and then it'll take it up to power. So, and no, that's not bad traffic. Tankless water heater. I don't know about that. I mean, I've got a tank. Minka says We'd love to buy a house there, saving for down payment now. Thank you. Well, you're trying to move to Queen Creek. Queen Creek is going to be it's going to be just real. It's going to be expensive in Queen Creek. I recommend Santan Valley. If you're trying, if money is an issue, Queen Creek's kind of expensive. Like I said, it's like $50,000 more in Santan Valley. Christopher T says, "I'm kidding and fun. Both are great pizza." Brian Miller was in San Diego yesterday. Now that is bad traffic. Oh gosh, San Francisco has the worst traffic. LA has terrible traffic. San Diego has pretty bad traffic on the 405. Yeah, no, it's not that bad. It's not that bad as California now. The only area of Arizona the only time I've seen Phoenix traffic get really pain in the butt is like around like the 101 in Scottsdale during rush hour. It can get pretty bad on the 101 during rush hour going north from Scottsdale. And I've also seen it pretty bad going east on the I-10 around the airport. It's pretty bad during rush hour. Christopher T says, Washington, D.C. has the worst traffic I've ever been in. The worst traffic I've probably seen in the United States was probably San Francisco. But thankfully, I haven't had to drive in Washington, D.C. I just took Amtrak. I was just like, I'm going to stay downtown, or I'm going to stay down in the capital area near the National Mall, right next to the Amtrak station, so that I just catch that. And I go north into Philadelphia or Baltimore. So I just stayed way off those dang freeways. What do they call that? The Beltway. Jerry Kroll says Atlanta traffic is horrible too. Actually, yeah, when I was in ATL, the Uber drivers were complaining about Atlanta's traffic. They said it was terrible. And it's crazy because if you look at Atlanta, it's circled by this big freeway. So you'd be like, well, whoever planned that must have known what they were doing. And then you get there and you're like, well, never mind. Civic Lexus kind of guy went on. Could I carry a M1 911 openly in Arizona? I don't know. I don't try to carry guns around in public. I don't know about that. I'm not. Oh, man. 280 Zone says yes. There you go. So someone answered that question. I don't know. Alice says, okay, she's talking about water heaters. Jose says, Grimaldi's is best pizza. Really? Okay. Chris, Litchfield Park for a millionaire? Chris, dude, if you're a millionaire, you're going to Scottsdale or Paradise Valley, my friend, or Desert Ridge or Happy Valley. Litchfield Park? Anyone else want to answer that so I don't sound like I'm crazy? You might even consider Ahwatukee. Ahwatukee's got some millionaires. Man, there's some beautiful homes in Ahwatukee. Just go up into the Ahwatukee foothills. Those got to be millionaires. And if those aren't $1 million homes, then those are some really good values for some beautiful homes. But I'm assuming those are $1 million homes. BA Gen 2, how easy is it to drive for Uber in Peoria? Probably pretty easy. I've never done it from there, but it's probably pretty easy. What a lot of people do in Phoenix when they drive for Uber, because Phoenix is all, Phoenix, you'll get an Uber ride going from Peoria to Gilbert, and you're like, okay, looks like I'm going to be working out in Gilbert today. So it doesn't really matter where you're headquartered. I mean, you could be. If you want to be like really centrally located, you probably just want to stick around to like downtown, and you probably get rides in that area a little bit better, like Scottsdale or downtown Phoenix, maybe Arcadia, Biltmore. But Peoria, I would be surprised if people did a lot of maybe at night they're doing Uber. Pegram, I'm from humid Midwest, so I'm thinking the dry heat will be less sweaty. Yeah, for sure. But it's like an oven. You ever open up an oven and then you pull the pizza out and you're like, woo! That's what it feels like when you get out of your car. Or you get in your car after it's been sitting. What's up, George? Conscious Agent, Ahwatukee is nice and close to South Mountain Park. I really like South Mountain Park. Good place to hike. Watch out for rattlesnakes. You might see some coyotes. Charles, what's up, man? Town of Paradise Valley in north central Phoenix corridor for multimillionaires. Yes, There you go. If you're a millionaire, you're looking Paradise Valley, Ahwatukee, Scottsdale, or Fountain Hills, or Desert Ridge, probably. If you're a real big baller, like a real big player, you're going to Cave Creek. So if you guys want to know where all the big players are, like the people with the big money, they're up in this place called Desert Mountain or over in Cave Creek. That's where like the celebrities live. That in Paradise Valley. Cave Creek is, Cave Creek, you got to be playing with some big dough, though. Like recently, there was this millionaire whose house, he built this huge compound, like the Pentagon set. It's not like it's like the Pentagon of houses. What I mean by that is it's like this huge compound. It's like this big square, kind of like rectangle looking deal. But it's like this massive compound with tennis courts and basketball courts. And it was on the news. Everyone's like, who owns that house? And they tried to find out, and it's owned by a Delaware Corp. So someone went and built a Delaware Corp to build that house and put it in the Delaware Corp's name. But that's up in Cave Creek. So there you go. I mean, that's where the big players go, is Cave Creek. Or Carefree. Yeah, Carefree, like Chuck said. And if you want a poor man's Cave Creek or Carefree, you go, and not a poor man's, but I'm saying like, if you're not a super huge millionaire, but you're a millionaire and you want some land, you go to New River. Carlene, I want to move to Arizona. I live in Wisconsin, looking for something that is not too expensive but safe. What is not too expensive? Who's this guy? Boomer? Who's Boomer? I gotta hide this user. All right. Jerry says, millionaire. You could spend it easily way up in north in Sedona too. Yeah, Sedona's got some beautiful houses. There's actually, if you go to the cathedral, there's this famous house up there near the cathedral. You know, the cathedral in the rocks. You got to go there if you go to Sedona. You got to check it out because it's really beautiful. It's like up on this Red Rock Mountain. You just walk up there and then like looking down, you see this big house. They say the guy who owns that or built it is the guy who invented LASIK surgery. But it's a big house in Sedona. Curious Agent said, Conscious Agent says, Sedona is awesome, but no jobs. Ain't that the truth? Unless you own one of those tourism companies where like the Pink Jeep or one of those. I don't know how those places stay in business that sell jewelry. I never see anyone buying jewelry, but yet they have these like jewelry stores all up and down there. Like they're a dime a dozen. Okay. Civic, Lexus kind of guy. Does Arizona have high premiums for insurance on cars? Yes. Kind of, in my opinion, yes. Anyways, guys, it's been an hour and 2 minutes. Thanks to the 76 people who pumped up the likes. I'll put a link to my brother's real estate page for those of you who want to go shopping. Join our group, Living in Arizona, and you can catch up with the refinance guy. And I'll see you guys on the next one.